Hey everyone, Rich here from driving and geocaching Route 66. As you can see, I'm back home. There's Minneapolis right behind me. I'm actually at an Earthcache in Prospect Park in St. Paul, and it's right on the edge of Minneapolis. You can see the skyline there. You can see the new stadium in downtown Minneapolis. Doing a video blog on my next segment on my blog, driving and geocaching Route 66 with Rich. And if you're watching this on YouTube and you haven't gone to my blog yet, go to richhavlik.blogspot.com. I'm going to have a lot more written content about my trip so far. When I left you last, I was about to hit Bolingbrook, Illinois, and the first major realignment of Route 66. And at this point, I found a geocache locally, and I was coming up to the intersection, and there's a west side of the realignment and the east side of the realignment. And so I just randomly picked one, and I picked the east side. And so on my way down, just some quick highlights of what I found was some geocaches along the way, but the ones that I want to highlight the most is there was one by what's called White Fence Farms, and it's a restaurant that's been in business before even Route 66 took hold. And if you go to my blog, or if you read in my blog, you'll see all the history of it, owners, and how it became a restaurant that specialized in chicken. And if you look at the pictures in my blog, you'll understand why. But there was a geocache that was hidden there called White Fence Farms, Old Route 66. That is GC12D2N, and it was placed by Greenback. And simple cache right in the parking lot of the place, but check out my blog for more history of that building. I didn't go inside to see inside. Evidently in the summer they have a petting zoo, and they have a room for what do you want to call it? Antiques that they've collected over the times. So, but as I was going down Route 66 south on the east side, east alignment, I had to sort of pick and choose. It was getting towards the end of the day. It was in the mid-afternoon. It was coming up on the evening, and I started to pick and choose which geocaches I want to go to. Now, some that I had on my list, I didn't do because either later in the day I was just skipping the ones that were non-route related and had low favorite points. But there was some that had high favorite points, and it was getting close to supper time, and at this time, you know, I was by myself. My girlfriend wasn't with me quite yet, so I was, I missed lunch. So I was looking for a place to do a lunch and, sort of picnic it. I had deli meats, I had bread, fruit in the vehicle, and they had two geocaches at a park on the east side of the realignment. And I'm going to give, and I didn't get a chance to get them, and I'll explain why. One was called Between a Rock and a Wet Place, GCJCEH. That was placed in 2004, and it had 8 favorite points. And in the same park, they had one called A Passage to India, GC3AC5. And that had 11 favorite points. Now, this park is, not a big, huge park, but they had 2 parking lots where you can enter into the park, and in each place they had a little playground for kids. And I drove up to the first one, which was closest to Between a Rock and a Wet Place, and they were having a kids party there. I didn't want to look like a creeper parked in the parking lot having a picnic lunch, so I decided to go to the next one. And the next parking lot that was by Passage to India, there was another kid's birthday party going on, and I didn't want to feel like a creeper. So what I ended up doing, even though these have a lot of favorite points, what I ended up doing was skipping these 2. I just had to move on. I did find a place a little bit farther down the road and did get myself a lunch. But as I got to, I believe it was Romeoville in that was in Romeoville. As I went south, in between Romeoville and Joliet, I think I pronounced that right. It looks like it's spelled Julette, but it's pronounced Joliet, I believe. And they had another sort of walking path, sort of like a way stop for people on Route 66, and they had two geocaches that I did find there. One was called Mother Nature, GC1WYP2. It had 3 likes. It was placed by MJ Holly, and that was a fun one. Got myself a wooden nickel, and in fact, in my blog, richhavlick.blogspot.com, I have a link to my Facebook Live as I went there, because they also have something very special in this park nearby this geocache, and it was called Rich and Creamy. It was an ice cream shop that they restored back in the heyday. There was a lot of ice cream stops for Route 66 folks, and this was one of them. And on top they have statues of the Blues Brothers dancing and singing on top. Check out the blog, check out the pictures, check out my Facebook Live link on richhavlick.blogspot.com. Also in the park, they had one called Route 53 Quick Cache that had 7 favorite points, and I did find that one that was placed in 2005 and by Mikey B. Mikey B, I should say, period. Mikey B. And so, yeah, thank you guys for placing those by this location. I got some pictures. I'm posting them on my blog, my written portion of the blog. And then, yeah, it was just a great time. It was a great experience. And I did borrow from historic Route 66 as a description for Rich and Creamy on Broadway. All right, so that's the stops you're going to have to go. They do have some little information kiosks there. They have like about 4 or 5 in a row. And yeah, stop and just learn more about Route 66 and the area around that area. And then what happened was I got as far as Joliet or Juliet, or I don't. Looks like Juliet, but it's Joliet, I believe it's pronounced. And it was getting dark. It was time to get a hotel. So I hit one of my apps to find a hotel, and the closest one and the one that I could afford the most was back in Romeoville. So what I ended up doing was traveling back up north to Romeoville and staying at a hotel up there. And I wish I went just a little bit further, because I missed a geocache. It's south of Joliet, and it's called We're on a Mission from God. And it has 7 favorite points, and it takes you to a gas station. And I could just only describe it. I've never been there. I'm just going off by what it looked like on geocaching.com at this geocache spot. It's GC4NJYZ. And that was put out by Keiko, K-I-K-O 101. And what they do is they have a car very similar to the one that Jake and Elwood drove in the movie Blues Brothers, high up on the post. And if you remember, at a portion of that movie, they had a big megaphone, you know, strapped and tied to the top of their vehicle. Well, that's what they have way up high. So it's a little site that I ended up missing because I never went back down the east side of the realignment to go get that one. So what I ended up doing the next day was Romeoville wasn't too far from the top of the alignment or the realignment, so I went to all the way to Juliet, drove back up to Romeoville, and the next day I went and did the west side of the 2 realignments. So I did miss that one, but I want to give a shout out to the cache owner of that one. That looked really cool. I wish I didn't miss it. So, but yeah, that's it for now. That was the end of my very first day driving and geocaching Route 66. And if you go to my written blog, richhavlick.blogspot.com, and I'll have more highlights of some of the geocaches I did find. So that's the highlights. So why am I here at this spot? I'm at an Earthcache called Witch's Hat. And it's called Witch's Hat because there's an historic water town in Prospect Park on sort of in between Minneapolis and St. Paul on University Avenue. And it's an Earthcache. I have to answer a question, which I already have the answer to already. But I stopped here, and it's a beautiful location. They have a park here that you can go and picnic if you want to. It's got a beautiful sight of the city of Minneapolis. So yeah, so I highly recommend. Shout out to geocacher who placed it, but was later adopted by another geocacher. So those notes are in my blog. So, hey, do me a favor. I'm going to show you some scenes around here, but after this video is done, do me a favor. Share this video or share this blog with your friends. Let's get lots and lots of people watching this who are interested in geocaching, who are interested in Route 66, and who are interested in driving and geocaching Route 66. Let's make this a community. Make a comment down below, and I'll answer the best I can. Tell me what your thoughts are, what your questions are, and and in the future, subscribe so you don't miss any more highlights of my trip down Route 66. Now, granted, I only made it as far as Oklahoma and had to come back, but I got lots of geocaches and sites that I saw along the way, and I'm excited to show you guys everything that I've experienced. And don't miss a blog, an updated blog. I'm going to try to do this weekly. So, in the meantime, stay out of trouble, guys. We'll talk to you soon.